Hello and welcome to another video. I'm the autistic artist, and that sounded like I'm the autistic artist, but I'm trying to say I'm the artistic artist. And today I want to talk about Medschool. Fun fact to begin with, a long time before I actually got my autism diagnosis, I was treated for horrible anxiety. That was basically my inner self showing me that something is wrong and that I'm overwhelmed, but I didn't know that and they didn't figure that out either. Anyway, I was feeling very bad and I was in that hospital and I talked to a psychiatrist, and there was this whole team and it was kind of a meeting when we were trying to get to know each other. And they were asking me questions. Basically, he was asking me questions. And then they came to the question, what do you want to be when you grow older? Because I was a kid. And yeah, that question, you always get it. I was, I'd say, 16 around-ish. And I told them, I want to be a doctor. And I always wanted to be a doctor. And for the next, it felt like hours, but it was over 10 minutes for sure. He proceeded to ask me why I wanted to be that and tell me reasons to not become a doctor. And I asked him why, and he was basically telling me he thinks I'm too sensitive for being a doctor. And this went on, and then at the end he and at some point I was so worried, and I asked him why he was doing this, what that is for. And he told me he was trying to get to know me, and now he knows I'm stubborn. I think there's a lot wrong with that, and I wish my self now can go back to the situation and talk with this nice person, and why I think that he's a little sexist, and why I think that what he did was very wrong. But I can't, so I'm trying to get to live with that memory without getting very angry. I became a med student, and it took me some time to get over that, because I was at a time where I didn't know that I'm autistic. I felt like I'm just a weak person, and I thought maybe I'm too weak for being a doctor, and that really got me, especially when that doctor, basically it's a grown doctor, grown up and everything, and he told me that he doesn't think I'm good at that and I'm not going to make it. And that really hit me deep in my inner self, because there's that voice, probably a lot of you guys out there know, that's telling you that you are not good enough and you're just not seeing it, and you're trying to hide from the fact that you are bad or stuff like that. And that voice really got some fruit from that doctor. And so I lost a year, basically. A year where I didn't try to get into med school, and I learned a lot in that year, and I'm trying to not see it as a year I lost anymore, but I'm still mad at that doctor, and I'm making that video to basically show that you can be autistic and become a med student. And in the future I plan on updating you on med school and everything. You can be autistic and you can become whatever you want, and don't let anybody tell you anything else. If you feel that it's not good for you and you feel that you are struggling, then don't force yourself to do things. Find a way that works for you, but don't let anyone else tell you what you can and can't do. You understand what I mean? Autism is a disability. It's not a disease, but it's a disability. Being disabled means that you can't do certain things other normal people can do. So there are limitations. And the most important thing for me in med school is that I need to do some things different. That I maybe need more breaks, that I need a room for myself where I can come to, where I can be not around people, basically. And there are ways I can do that in med school. And when I'm working in a hospital, it's important to know that I'm autistic, but I'm not going to let that dream go because of being scared of how people will react and because of meeting doctors like that again. And I know that there are people out there, and if this video will one day go out to a lot of people, then there statistically are going to be people who think that I'm not able to become a doctor. And the important thing is that if you are autistic and you think about a medical career of some sort, it's very important to know that actually a whole lot of autistic people are in the medical field in some way, and you are definitely not alone, and you can do it. You just need to look if it's the right thing for you. And if you feel like you are not hurting yourself with that, and if you feel like you yourself are going to be fulfilled and are going to feel good, and if that's something that's truly for you. So yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say here. And now I want to talk a little about the experiences for now that I had in med school. And they weren't always good ones, but for a reason that I can't really mention on YouTube, but we all know it because we are all living in it, and it's the great P because of the great C. I haven't gotten in contact with too many people, and there are some other med students that I'm working with who found my TikToks or my YouTube videos, and they are all so kind, and I'm so happy about that, and that's all fine. And I have someone who is working at the Messchool and working with disabled people, and she's very kind as well, and she's trying to work things out with me, and that's amazing. And that's not a problem. I just noticed that there are all professors who have horrible stereotypes in their head about autism, like no empathy, can't become doctors. And I listened to a lecture from a professor who told everyone, for example, autists have no empathy and they can't become doctors. That was his example from not everyone can do everything. And I was sitting there and cringing a lot. And later on, when the lectures were over and at the end of the semester we kind of need to write at an anonymized form what we thought about the lectures. And I wrote in there that I didn't think that was okay. And you may think what's wrong? That's just an old professor and everyone knows that. But he's here and we are listening to him speaking because he's trying to educate us. And I think it's important that when you are in that position that you check your facts, and telling that to a group of people can plant a thought in their head that then later on when they are doctors and they get another co-worker and he's like, hi, I'm blah, blah, and they find out that he's autistic, that seed in their head might change how they interact with him or her, whatever. And I think actions have an impact, even if you don't really realize that you can have a huge impact at someone. If an autistic person listened to that, it might be very impactful to them. And yet it was, for example, an incident where I wasn't that happy to say it in a nice way. But all in all, that whole P thing is really helping me out right now, because I'm mostly sitting over here and working on Medschool stuff, and I'm studying here, and I know that space, and I feel well in that space, and I'm really happy. I know a lot of people are struggling, and I know a lot of people are hit really hard by this whole P and C thing, you know. So I'm not trying to say I'm happy about that. It's just, it's a great way to live. Like, seriously, guys, we should do more work at home stuff. It's great, you know everything, and yeah, maybe that's just me. And I'm a little scared of that changing, because when change hits me, then as soon as I know, like, on this date things will change, then that makes me stressed, and I'm thinking of how I'm going to adjust and everything, and change isn't mine, and I know that the whole P thing will change how we live in the future, and hopefully with vaccines and everything. So yeah, that's that. So that was it for this video. If you have any questions related to med school in general, autism and med school, how I do things, just ask them in the comments. And if for some reason there are a lot, which is totally fine, I might make a whole video. Otherwise, I will just answer them in the comments, and don't be scared of asking, it's fine. I don't have any problem with it if the question is kind, or if the comment in general is kind or well-meaning, then it's totally fine. And I talked to a and without getting very angry about people making noises that are probably now in the video, and me constantly stopping to talk. Anyway, updating you on med school and everything, and not trying to suck in my belly, even though it's visible, but bodies are cool. You can be autistic, and you can throw your hands at your mic constantly. Yeah, and I hope you have a wonderful week and everything. I wish you guys all the best. I hope you know that, and don't tell anyone that he can't do anything, because that's not on you to decide. Yeah, and then I hope I see you guys in my next video.